Well, hello, everybody. And it's been a while, but welcome to another episode of the Facts and Fatherhood podcast. Listen, before we go any further, you know there's a couple things that I have to do that I need to get out of the way. The first thing I need to do is I always on every single solitary podcast that we have. I want to always remind you, dads, fathers, you are so important. You are so vital. You are so needed in the lives of your children. And by the way, I am here because I love being a father. I love my family. I totally do. And because I love my family, I love being a father. I love my job as a father. And my goal is to help you love being a father the way I love being a father. And I hope that if you already love being a father, that you would love being a father all the more. We need you. We need you. And here we go, brothers. Y'all already know what we have to do, right? Remember that all we are is men, dads, fathers, grandfathers, uncles, all of those things involved. And what are we doing every day? We are going to be the ones who are doing our very best and then making our best even better. I'm excited. I am grateful to have this space with you. I am enthused about the opportunity that we have to share with you, all of you fathers. And I want to make sure that you take the time and take a moment, go ahead and visit our website. Okay, I want you to visit our website, www.factsandfathers.com. Go to that website, check out the stuff that's there. As a matter of fact, there's some nice hoodies. The weather's about to get a little cool. It's probably already cool in some places. And go ahead and check out the website. You can go to this little QR code that's right there, scan that QR code, and it will take you directly to the factsandfathers.com website. There are some resources there that are available to you. There's some blogs on there about fatherhood and things that will kind of help to educate you about your role as father, because we want to support you in every single way. Also, we're inviting you right there to subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us there, and all of those social media platforms. They're on TikTok, we're there. They're on Instagram, we're there. Go on there and subscribe and be a part of our community of fathers. We have some great things that we're working on. As a matter of fact, you'll hear a little bit later about what we call the Huddle Men's Conference. It's exciting. It is something very, very good that's coming. And we're going to hold up a little bit and we're going to get a game plan and we're going to execute that game plan. And we are going to be successful. We are going to do this job and we are going to be successful. Okay? You don't have to be perfect, but you do want to be present. All right. I also want to make sure that I give you an opportunity to be able to take advantage, and very, very soon there is a little tool right here that is going to be available in your hands. This is called Like Arrows in My Hand. It is a book, it is a guide for families everywhere. It emphasizes talking about parenthood, but it specifically talks about fatherhood. All right, so very, very soon you'll be getting more information about how you can get your hands on this book. I'm excited about you getting your hands on that book. But already you can go to Barnes and Noble, you go to Amazon, and you can pick this little book up right here. It's just a little small 21-day devotional book, has some inspirational poetry and all that kind of stuff like that in it. But it is that word right there, Yahweh to all generations. So get an opportunity, pick up that book, go on Amazon, go on Barnes and Nobles, go on Books a Million, go and pick up that book, and then be ready when it's time for the release of Like Arrows in My Hand. That is the one I'm really, really excited about. So, as you know, this podcast is all about fatherhood. It is all about encouraging, all about educating, all about building up, not beating you up, dad. It's all about encouraging dads, all about lifting up dads. And right now, this particular series that we're in is called Faith and Fatherhood. And we're discussing how our faith plays a significant role in our job as fathers. Faith and fatherhood. So there's some guests that we have that are going to be coming on, that are going to be sharing with us. But today is a very special day. We had an opportunity where we really wanted to try during May to give a shout out to our single moms and those kind of different things like that. And what we ended up doing was we had some things that happened and weren't able to do it, but we are back full circle. And so today we're going to take the time to give a shout out and to recognize and to appreciate the efforts of single moms. And maybe the dads, you get the opportunity to hear it from the perspective of a single mom and moms that are in the role. Listen, we salute you. Okay, we know you have a tough job. We know you have a lot on your hands, and you cannot be a father. You can only be a mother. But if you're getting the job done, you deserve a salute. So we salute you for all of the things and all the effort and all the things that you have to put in to make the life of your children better. And with that in mind, we have a special guest with us today, in the person of Gail Douglas. She is going to be sharing with us. Everybody, do me a favor and welcome to Facts and Fatherhood, Gail Douglas. We are so glad to have her on, and she's going to be sharing some insights and some wisdom to our single moms. And she's going to be just kind of talking about some different things because every now and then, mom, I know what it feels like. Kind of, that's what it kind of feels like. Oh, right. But the reality is that if you stick and hang in there, you will see the rewards of your labor and the rewards of your effort. And so, everybody, help me put your hands together out there and welcome Gail Douglas to our Facts and Fatherhood podcast. Welcome, Gail Douglas. How are you
Thank you.
today?
Doing quite well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's another day in the land of fatherhood, and I am so happy, glad have this opportunity to be able to interview you on this podcast as we are, of course, celebrating and educating and empowering fathers. But we wanted to take this time to turn aside to recognize the efforts of single mothers, right? And the job that they have. One of the statistics that we talked about quite often on our podcast is that they're in just in the United States for many different reasons. There are about 25 million children that are living in single parent homes. Some of
Mm,
those are single fathers. Some of those are one grandmother, or sometimes they've been, placed with one person and just pretty much in their care. But 25 million children in just the United States are living without their fathers. That is at an alarming statistic. But here's the reality, y'all. Statistics are only the facts that help us to see and get the picture of the challenge that may be before us. But statistics do not mean that they will never change, that reality will never change. So we want to be a part of the solution, and we want to be a part of minimizing and bringing that number down so that we have more children who are having the opportunity to be able to have their fathers in their lives, to be able to provide them identity and structure and direction and guidance. The truth of the matter is that what we are living in right now is the most fatherless generation that has ever existed. And it leads to so many different things that are happening, so many things that are happening on our school campuses, so many things that are happening. It leads to crime, it leads to dropout, it leads to so many other different things because a lot of times the child is left to struggle without the structure and the identity and all those that kind of different things, the grounding that they get from having a father who is present, not perfect, but present in their lives. And so we wanted to be able to hear from you and just kind of let you take the floor and just kind of tell us a little bit about you and your journey, and all the things that went into the challenges, and you overcoming in your space of being a single mom.
Thank you, Demetrius. I'm really
Mhm.
excited to speak tonight, to encourage the fathers and also to encourage the single mothers. I too raised my daughter uh, in a single capacity. So I kind of know what it takes in a sense. Um, but I want to say that being single doesn't mean that you're not complete as a mother.
Mm,
Just because you're
mm,
raising your child
mm,
in a single unit, it doesn't mean that you are not the person that you need to be to that daughter, to that
mm,
son. So you can raise them in a single home and yet be whole, so that you can
mhm,
um, allow your raise your children in a healed environment. So my
mhm,
daughter is
mhm,
presently 34 years old. She is she graduated, got two master's degrees. I mean, she went on and she had other little certificates that she's achieved. She is now currently married for going on almost 2 years, and she's expecting her first child. And so we did have some challenges, but they were not challenges that we couldn't overcome. And we both
mhm,
learned so much on our journey. And I was
mhm,
determined that she would be successful. And I wanted her to be able
mhm,
to jump off my shoulders. I didn't want her to have to experience some of the challenges I did. So I quickly changed my thoughts about her and about what it means for me to raise her. And I quickly decided that we were going to both be okay. And I decided that I would teach her how to love her father. I decided that I would
mm,
teach her what love looks like and not um, talk bad about her father. No matter what happened between us, that was not her fault. And so I learned that if you want your
mhm,
children to be whole and complete, first off, we need to be whole as parents, whether you are a male or a female, making peace
mhm,
with things that happen in your life should not spill on your children.
mhm.
So
Wow.
she was
Yeah,
able
that's
to,
uh-huh. I'm listening. We're
no,
listening.
so she was able to go through elementary school and grade school, and she didn't miss a beat. She did not. I mean, she was able to do exactly the same thing that other kids were able to do. I mean, she did in sports, and if you want to look at good grades, I mean, if you want to look at everything they got, I mean, everything the you would say the normal two parent family had, she was blessed to be able to have also. So, being a single parent can be limited, but it's all in the way you think about things. And
Mhm,
I want to give her the best quality life, but yet and still keep her at a place to where she knew that she was unique and that she was special and that she didn't have to be like the in crowd. So I
mhm,
really would just love to grab the single mothers that would, want to have conversations and sit downs and just to hear the wisdom and just to hear the little key points that would help them be an overcomer.
wow. Wow. That's that's some really really good insight. Um I like the fact that you're talking about making the emphasis not on the challenges that are before you. You know, we have those challenges, and when we recognize the challenge, the challenge could be something that we call that can cause us to really become discouraged, and that becomes the focal point. But you talking about, you made the focal point the end goal of what you wanted her life to be, or what her life turned out in a very, very positive way. I'm interested because um I hear the message, of course, when you say, it's how you think about it. And you say, basically, this is something that you can do. Like, literally, you can do it. Like, you can really be successful at this. You really can make it. And so, talk to me a little bit about um, how important it is to surround yourself with the proper community, the proper support system, while you're navigating this space of single parenthood, in particular, with the single moms. And just kind of talk about that, and maybe how, and you had the presence, because in the community you're going to have the presence of both, male and female, and all of those things, how they impact and play a role in what you're doing.
Yes, I had a safe environment, safe community. My mother was a great help in in raising my daughter. My stepfather at the time was living. I had a great support system. I also had my siblings; they were there to help assist my daughter. Then I had Demetrius Wilson and Adrian Wilson. They were a great impact in her life as well. But if I could just backtrack for a minute, I want to tell the single mothers that this is one thing that I experienced that I did not want my daughter to have to experience. My biological father was not in my life, right? So I met him maybe, when I say met him, literally saw him for the first time when I think I was 21 or 22. I knew his mom,
Wow.
my grandmother, spent time with her, but met him and made peace with him. See, that's why I was so healed, is because I didn't allow what my biological father didn't do make me angry and bitter. So that, and I knew when I was a young girl that I would never want my daughter to experience the absence of a father. I just knew it. How did I know it? I don't know. But I knew that what I
Mm.
experienced and the loneliness that I felt from the absence of my dad, I knew one day that I didn't want my daughter to experience that. So I mean, as a young girl, I mean, I just said, no, when I ever have children, I'm gonna do everything I can on my part to make sure that she has a relationship with her dad.
Mhm.
And so again, he
Mhm.
was a part
Mhm.
of her upbringing. He was there in a way that I never could be there for her. And so that
Mhm.
community that you're
Mhm.
talking about is very vital. It's very vital. And you have to have a safe community, and you have to have people that who has your best interest at heart and your child's best interest at heart. So I was very particular who I allowed to be in her space and in our
Mhm.
life. And mothers, we just have to be honest
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody is not
Mhm.
that safe person for your children, and we don't want to overlook um,
Absolutely not.
the red flags that are red like an apple. Okay, so
Come on.
those red flags are really beaming, and we can
Mhm.
see. And so, as parents, we are to protect our children. So that circle is very
Mhm.
important. And so I was very selective and in choosing people who would be able to impart in my daughter's life. That's very important. And you
Hmm.
can be as selfish as you want
Yeah.
to when you're choosing people who will help you with your children.
Wow. Whoa. Nah, that's heavy. That's heavy. That you could be as selfish as you want to when it
Hmm.
comes to surrounding your child with the right community. You know what? I just had a thought when you said it, and I said, "Whoa!" The little thought hit me. A great circle will break a bad cycle.
It
Ain't that
will.
something?
Yes.
I mean, you surround yourself with the right people. You put yourself in the right environment because your environment impacts the way you think. It impacts your mind. It helps, because you get in those points. I was just talking to someone earlier, and one of the things I was sharing with them is that in the element of life, this life that we live, we are not going to escape the reality of our humanity until this life is over. And when we
Yes.
think about that, it means that we have to learn how to navigate and operate within the parameters of the limitations that we have as human beings. Because as human beings, we have limitations. That means that there's
Right.
sometimes where we get tired. Like, we don't have the I don't we don't have the I don't have the luxury of saying, well, tomorrow, Tuesday at 5 o'clock, I'm gonna be tired. I don't have the luxury of choosing the moments when I'm gonna be tired or when I'm gonna need a break. I don't have the luxury of choosing that. If I had the luxury of choosing that, of course, I'd be strategic with how I place those moments. But those moments sometimes come. There are certain challenges and stuff that arise unexpectedly, and you don't really know sometimes in the moment, like how to really deal with it. And so it brings you to a place, where you're feeling overwhelmed. And so it is great to have a community of people that surround you, that can be that support, that can really care. I remember sometimes us going to some of Shan's games, and I'm not as outgoing or as loud as my wife is, but Adrian would be in the stands and she would be cheering loud for Shan just like she would be for our children.
Right.
And listen, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. We love Shan. Okay,
Yeah.
we love Gail's daughter, Shan. Okay, love her so much that when she graduated from high school, we went and participated in this thing that they have called Project Graduation. And let me tell you something. we did it because we did it because we love her, but it took me about 2.5 days to recoup from that all of those activities that was there at night. But we wanted to be there. Okay, we wanted to
Yeah.
be there. We
Yeah.
got there. We got to the house that morning at daybreak and just laid out on the couch. I'm talking about didn't go by the shower, didn't go by and just laid out on it. I promise I must have slept. I slept so many times over the next two and a half days. But
Hmm.
the reality is we wanted to do what it took because it meant so much to her.
Yeah.
And all of those things, oh my gosh, that brings me to a point. All of those things help your child to see the value in themselves. Now that's where it comes down to, where you become more, and I heard what you said, that when you engage with your own father and you didn't meet him till like you were in your 20s, you confronted that pain. That's that is so key. You confronted your own pain. And because you confronted your own pain, you were able to get yourself built up and strict enough where you had something where you chose, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest in her success instead of saying, oh, I had a man, I'm hey, blah, blah, blah. No, you is there's nothing wrong with me. My father made a choice and he made a decision. And unfortunately, dad, sometimes one of the most tragic things for me to think about in the life of a father and I see this because I do mentoring in the schools and that kind of stuff like that, is I think often about how many dads are missing out on the opportunity to have a wonderful experience with a great human being.
Yeah.
I mean, because some of these children are so great. I mean, they are great human beings. And a lot of times I try to encourage them and let them know, hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you. You are good. All is well. And you have somebody who's here, who is in your corner, who wants to push you, who wants to support you, who wants to see you do well. All of those things help that child to see the value within themselves, and it motivates them and stimulates them to move toward a positive goal, right? And you can be missing something that is vital to be there, right? But then be surrounded by so much, right? Until you don't even have the time to focus on what's out of the picture and what's missing, right? And
Let
you
me,
start to
while you're
see,
there,
wow, look how much I have. Look, yeah,
while you're there, I just want to really
go ahead.
encourage fathers. I want to really encourage fathers at this point, because a lot of times we don't know why they're absent. We don't know why, the struggles that they have in their life, what they did get when they were coming up or what they didn't get. I don't know that. So I want to encourage fathers to, and it may be hard for you guys, but if you can get to a place to where you can open up to someone that you can trust,
Hmm.
because that, just opening up is the first part of getting healed. And I do think, a
Hmm.
lot of men have not stepped up to the plate because they didn't have an example of how to do that. And so that's why
Hmm.
we have to
Correct.
have compassion
Hmm.
for, because you don't know someone's story until you talk to them.
Hmm.
And so you have to, and I'm not saying everybody,
Right.
but I've learned over the course of life to find out about the person you plan to spend your life with, or you plan to have children with, because that can be the
Hmm.
start of you
Right.
deciding if you want this relationship or not. And that way,
Wow.
Demetrius,
Yeah.
we will kind of bypass some of the hurtful situations that we can put our children in if we just stop and just take a moment and get to know people. Not saying that they won't change, but get to know people so you can make a sound decision about if you want to invest with this person or not. Because now, as women, we love to say they did this and that, but honestly, sometimes we didn't do our part. You know, we didn't do our part.
Hmm.
We just wanted to be with somebody so bad. And
Uh-huh.
so,
Uh-huh.
as
Uh-huh.
women, we have a part to play too.
Yeah. That is so key. I love the fact that I keep hearing you say the word heal.
Hmm.
You got two options. Either you're healed or you're hurt.
Hmm.
And if you're hurt, then there's, in order to get to the place of healing, you got to do what you did. You confronted the pain. Like you made peace with it. You said, okay, you know what, this is my reality. Nothing I can do to go back to change what that was, right? Nothing I can do to make my parents choose different, to make my father choose different. Nothing I can do. But what I can do is make a decision from this point, you know to because if I'm going to heal, I got to decide to move in that direction. I got to decide to heal. And you decided that that child was worth you taking that healing journey, that your child needed you to be whole. Your child needed you to be completely, fully yourself, right? Because your child needed all of you. right? She needed all of you. She needed you to be there, to be present. That's one of the things I try to emphasize on the podcast, that the reality is that perfection is something that we're working toward. We're all the best thing I can do from day to day is try to be better tomorrow than I was today. That's really the best I absolutely can do. I wake up every day and I try to evaluate and I try to be better than I was the day before. So the requirement in order to be involved is not to be perfect. I mean, because perfection in that way does not exist. The
No.
requirement is to be present. Like, to be there, I mean, in all of your imperfections. I stress that. I say that as that. I can't tell you, that I did everything perfectly. This, what I'm sharing, is not coming out of a place of perfection. This is not me talking. This is not us talking to you out of a place of perfection. We made the mistakes. We made the errors. We had to grow. We had to learn. We had to develop. Sometimes that meant hard conversations, and that meant tears, and that meant all kinds of different things. But at the end of the day, to see the end result, man, it is so worth it. That's what I've been trying to stress on this side of things. I mean, I'm looking at the reality of our children and walking into their adulthood, and they're walking with so much grace and so much confidence, and they are doing really, really great things, and they are independent, and they are focused, and they are driven, and they have goals. And then we've got one that has a family, and now we have a grandson. And I'm looking at all of these things and saying, man, when I look back on all the stuff that we had to really walk through, those seasons that we had to walk through for our children to be where they are in life, not everything perfect and all, but where they are in life, it is worth it. And I think that's a message, to single moms, to single dads, to whoever you are. It is worth it. The investment that you make in the life of, I feel so when I'm watching them, and sometimes they call and they talk about things, whatever they're doing. I mean, my little heart just, I mean, I just feel so rewarded, in at that moment when they're sharing, and they want me to know, well, pop, they call me different things. My daughter called me daddy, and my youngest son calls me pop, and then my oldest boy calls me old man. So I mean, it doesn't matter. But in their own respect, and when they're talking to me and they're saying old man or daddy or pop, and they're telling me about the good things they have going, they want me to know it. I'm telling you, just if I could show lights on my face, I would be just beaming, just gleaming. I mean, 'cause it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding to know that you invested in the life of your child, and that is coming back to you, not necessarily in just the material fashion, but it's kind of joy that you're not having to go get your child out of prison. You're not having to go get your child out of drug house or off the streets, all those kind of different things like that. Whatever it is that you set your heart and your mind to do when it comes to the raising and the rearing of your children, man, you are so empowered to do it. I mean, it is in you to do it. And one of the things that I talk about in the book is, I talk about, and I'm gonna let you talk about a little bit about this too. I talk about if something revealed to me, of course, my time in parenthood. I never heard anybody say it. I'm not saying nobody knew it, because I don't know what everybody knows, but there was one point in time where the Father revealed to me, you have the grace to parent. You have the grace to parent. And you have to learn how to lean into the grace, because if you don't lean into the grace to parent, then you become victim of the frustration of parenting, because there are moments of frustration, right? Bible speaks about foolishness being bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction drives it far from them. And I often say correction must be done correctly. So if there is foolishness in my heart, I can't fix foolishness with foolishness. So the truth of the matter is that I have to lean into and embrace the grace that is available to me for me to be able to function and do this job as a mother, as a father. Because if I don't lean into the grace, the scripture talks about how the creature was made subject to frustration. And if I don't, I got two choices. It's either lean into the grace, embrace the grace, which is the empowerment to do, or fall victim to the frustration. Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that for a moment.
Okay,
Just the reality of
part of
embracing that ability within you.
well, I was able to. Well, I gotta go back to healing. I was able to embrace the grace because I was whole, and and I mean, it just all goes back to
Hmm.
I didn't look at my daughter and say again, you're not gonna have the grace if you're angry with that other person. You won't have the grace to do that. Because even looking at your child, because if
Hmm.
you ask me, my daughter is a spitting image of her dad. So if I didn't have the grace, every time I looked at her, I would be mad because it
Yeah.
didn't work out, and that's what we do. We say, and see, again, your focal point is wrong. It's wrong. So that grace still comes from a healed place. And knowing that
Hmm.
the Father trusted me
Yeah.
to be her mother. And I had to seek for wisdom
Hmm.
and understanding on how to raise
Hmm.
her, especially when you have a child that is a, a child that God has chosen for His work and His purpose. You have to see those children and rear them as the Holy Spirit leads you to rear them. And so my grace came
Hmm.
from when she was born. I looked at her. To me, she was perfect. And so I said, I'm responsible for this baby. And so God extended that grace to me because
Hmm.
He allowed me opportunity to rear her. And so also I was
Hmm.
given grace. And so I can't give you
Mm.
what I don't have.
Hmm.
I can't extend grace to my child
Key.
if I don't have grace. And that
Hmm.
same grace caused me to teach her how to love her dad. It taught me how to encourage her to be a part of his life. I mean, when you talk about grace, it extends in so many places.
Yes, it does.
And just to see them in their element together is one of my greatest joys because
Now look at that. Come on.
she gets an opportunity to experience a part of life I never did, you know. And
Wow.
she
Wow.
gets to be whole and complete in an area that the father had to heal me from. She didn't have to go through that because her dad her and her dad have this great relationship now to where they talk more than we talk, and that's fine with me. But again, it is because I understood the assignment, and the assignment was to not allow her to experience what I had because I knew what the pain felt like. So that's the grace that I had for her, is to make sure that I'm doing everything I can on my side, and to make sure that I'm not being a woman that keep up confusion because I couldn't have her dad, or because we were broke up. See, you're not gonna have
Mm.
grace to raise that child right if you bitter.
Wow.
So I had to put all that to the side. And I'm not saying to the women that everything was peaches and cream and everything was easy, but I am saying I made a decision. I am saying I made a choice and a
Mm.
decision. And um Shane's grandmother used to always tell me, you don't know. No, she didn't say me. She said, Chandrell doesn't know the sacrifice that you're making so that she can have the kind of life that she's having. But when I say it pays off, that young lady would do anything she can for her mom and her dad. And their relationship is so great now.
Yeah.
So all of that that I experienced
Yeah.
from a little girl. We broke the barrier of her not having her dad. Now she's expecting her first baby and she's married. And so we know we annihilated that. No, that's not going through our lineage. Your
That's
daughter
right.
or your son will have their
That is
dad in your
right.
life. So we have to make some decisions
Hmm.
so that we can annihilate things that were trying to travel to the next generation.
Wow. That see, that's what I'm saying. So the beauty of it is you receive grace, you embrace the grace that you receive, and then you extend that same grace. That right there is key to the healing process. Everybody gets grace. No, don't get in the mindset, oh, well, this one getting away and I and that, because it's easy to go there. You receive the grace, embrace that grace, and extend that grace. And it brings you to a place and to a point where to um, you are able to create an environment, right? You None of us got the opportunity to create the start of our reality. None of us. But all of us have the choice to establish and build a new reality, right? The future, the future is what I have to live in. So I might as well do what it takes to make it good. I mean, and if you would do the right things, if you would do, and us again, we're not talking about perfection. We're
No,
talking about through trial and error. We're talking about through pain. We're talking about through growth moments. We're talking about all the things that goes along with it. You gotta go through those tears and heavy times and all. You gotta go through those difficult conversations. You have to walk through those spaces. But if you do it with grace, you grow through those spaces. You grow in through those experiences. Those experiences feed into the strength that you end up having to be able to continue to be resilient, because you got to be resilient in the process, right? Because if you're healing, you're healing a lot of times, in your unhealed state, it really means that your growth has been prevented. Like, you've been prevented from growing, you've been prevented from maturing. So a part of the healing process is you actually having the opportunity to grow up, and you come out of the mindset of victimhood. That one of your greatest joy is seeing her have a productive and successful relationship with her father. Because the reality is that her having a relationship with her father takes nothing away from the contribution that you made. It takes nothing away from what you will always have the reality of the contribution that you made in the labor, and rejoice in the beauty of knowing, wow, look at what that decision that I made to confront my pain and allow myself to heal so that I could be whole, raise my daughter, put her in a really good, strong community, and be choicy and be effective and be selfish about who I got around her, because I don't want her to experience any of those things. And then not then to make the decision that you were not going to pass to her the same thing that was given to you. Now that just makes, listen, y'all. The truth of the matter is that life is filled with so many things, so many challenges, so many realities that sometimes we don't want to face. But the truth of the matter is if I'm playing a game, in particular a card game, domino game, whatever I'm playing, I have got to learn how to play the game with the hand that I've been dealt. I'm not going to sit out the game. I'm going to play the game with the hand that I've been dealt. Come to the reality, embrace the reality, and say, I'm gonna make peace with what is. I'm gonna talk through what I need to talk through. I'm gonna cry. Listen, a part of surrounding yourself with a good community is surrounding yourself with people that you can talk to about you, that you can be strengthened and encouraged and built up. That people that'll give you a break, know, people that will come alongside you, to assist and help. Listen, you can do this. You can do this. And listen, I wanna make sure we give another applause to all you single moms out there, because you all have a lot. All you single dads out there, all y'all, you have a lot. We want to put our hands together and celebrate and appreciate you, and say that we're wrapping it. If you go on that factsandfathers.com website, you'll see that there are some resources. Don't forget that little QR code. You'll see that there are some resources that are there, that maybe you can involve yourself in some counseling, or maybe you can get yourself involved in some kind of a group that is there. Like, we want to try to partner you with groups that are in your area, churches or different people that are in your area that are having some fatherhood support groups. I mean, that are single mother support groups, or surround yourself. You have to be intentional about putting yourself in good community. You have to be intentional about putting yourself in the spaces that are really going to help you be successful, that are really going to build you up, and really going to encourage you, and really going to stimulate your growth in that relationship that you want to be able to have, and stimulate that relationship that you want to have with your child, and that reality, that identity that your child can develop within themselves. That child can still be whole. That child can still be successful. That child can still go forward, and that child can still do great things. Shan is doing great things. She was the leader of a dynamic group while she was in college. She did phenomenal things, right? Because I love it how the Father can take, mess and make it ministry. Now, one of the things y'all know we've talked about in this podcast is that we are unapologetic about the basis of the scriptures in what we do, because we know that the principles that are in the scriptures work. They absolutely work. And so we believe the reality of what the scripture says about our children. And it says that grace shall be their peace, and they should be taught of the Father. And so we believe that the Father has given us the opportunity to be successful, to be able to raise our children, to be able to bring our children to the place where they're able to go forward in life and be successful. Okay. You have it within you. And so our goal is just to simply encourage you. This has been a great conversation. I'm believing that those that listen to this podcast are going to be able to take some things from this conversation. If nothing else, maybe a few action steps. If you don't take anything else from the conversation, make the decision to confront your pain in whatever that takes. If that means you need to go somewhere and sit down and get counseling, if that means you need to go somewhere and get yourself some help, confront your pain so that the healing process can begin. And then receive grace for yourself, embrace that grace, and then extend that grace to your child, extend that grace to the other parent. You can do it. You can do it. You are looking at the reality of an example, a contemporary example of it being done, right? And the Father that we serve, the God that we serve, he's no respecter of persons. And if he will be there to support Gail, he will be there to support you. All right. So listen, we're in your corner. All right. We are in your corner. We're rooting for you. All right. You are going to be successful. If nothing else, I need you to get up every single day. And even if you got tears in your eyes before you brush your teeth, I need you to look in that mirror and tell yourself, you can do this. You can do it. All right. It can be done. Take the steps that are necessary. Put yourself in spaces that will help you, that will help to promote the end goal that you have. All right.
Yeah.
Success is just up ahead. All right. So if you would just choose, Okay, if you would just choose to move forward, to
Yeah.
confront your pain, start the process, and to walk through that healing process, you will enjoy the fruit of your labor in the end of the thing. All right. All
Yes.
right. Gail, is there anything else, any parting words you have for us this evening before we depart?
Men, you are very important. You are absolutely needed in the world. You're needed in the marketplace. You're needed in the families. You're needed in the church. We need you, men. And they tell me all the time, I take up for men all over. I don't think so, but I'm just letting the men know how important you are to your family, to your children, and just to this world. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Gail, for coming and being a part of our Facts and Fatherhood podcast. Y'all, stay tuned. Stay with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to go out on that little website right there. That's some merchandise you actually can purchase on there. There's some hoodies, there's some t-shirts. It's gonna be some baseball caps. The product that we have on there, I want to explain that to y'all. It is something that I did in honor of my father. There was something that my father would always say to us that would help to keep us on the straight and narrow. And often when he wanted you to think about what you were about to do, he would look at you over the glass and he would say, "Boy, don't let the devil fool you." Or, "Girl, don't let the devil
Yeah.
fool you." So our little merch that is on there, little hoodie and t-shirt, that is, "Don't let the devil fool you." All right. So mom, dad, whoever you are out there listening to this podcast, don't let the devil fool you. You can be successful. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Facts and Fatherhood podcast. Stay tuned with us. We are looking forward to just building and surrounding ourselves with a great community of fathers. And we're going to keep y'all encouraged. And like I said, my goal is to raise up fathers who love being fathers the way I love being a father. All right. We'll see you next time right here on Facts and Fatherhood.